Hey guys, welcome to episode 13 of the Digital Demons podcast. We're back for another round of podcasts and another week full of bullshit.
Man, what a weekend it's been.
Yeah,
Right?
it's been kind of a shit weekend. For those of you guys that are following the show, I've had some truck troubles and it hasn't been fun. So guess what? Another week full of car troubles and full of truck troubles, just to be the icing on the cake, I guess. Truck's back in the shop again. This will be the third time in less than 2 months. First time it happened, it was just kind of losing accelerator power, and took it to the shop, and they were like, "Oh, nothing's wrong with it. We can't find anything wrong with it." And we drove it, and we couldn't duplicate the problem, like they always say at a dealership.
Yeah.
So I was like, "All right, cool. Maybe it was just kind of a one thing, sporadic kind of deal, and it'll never happen again." And sure enough, they sent it home with me. I was driving to work, and the shit happened again. And the second time was a little bit worse because I was pushing it. I had to get back into town from where I was at going to work. And, barely made it back. And so they looked at it, and they're like, "Oh, guess what? Yeah, your fuel pump's bad." Changed the fuel pump. They're like, "This is going to take care of it." We talked to Toyota. They said this is exactly what we need to do. They investigated the issue. They said, replace the fuel pump, and you'll be good for the duration of your ownership or whatever.
No.
And, bullshit. And so I'm coming back from visiting my mom yesterday, and the truck does the same shit again. What do you know? And this time I was on the freeway, though, so it was a little more sketchy. All the way over, obviously, on the freeway, rolling out probably 65 to 75 or whatever the pace we were at. And the truck just starts turning off. It was like, "No, we're not doing this shit." So no accelerator. It's losing. We're dropping speed, and we're getting ran up on. And so we Hail Mary the shit over to the side, get off the freeway, and had to call AAA. So that was not a good thing. I was highly pissed off and irritated and just beyond mad with the whole situation. But the tow truck driver was cool. Cool dude, had good conversation all the way back home. It was over an hour drive with him.
An hour and a half.
Yeah, and this dude was fucking hauling ass too.
Really?
Like, he was rolling out. Yeah, and I mean, just traffic. You know how it goes.
So I made Brian share his location with me because I don't know. I'm skeptical about any stranger anywhere. So I was like, "Share your location with me. I need to know where you're at." And I was watching him the whole time, and that's Blaze. Everyone meet Blaze.
Yeah. Chiming in.
But yeah, so I was like, share your location with me, and I was watching it. I was watching him the whole time. So yeah, but
so I didn't get kidnapped by the fucking AAA tow truck driver for sure.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. So this guy was cool the whole way. We're bullshitting with him. I was with my brother, and we're doing this drive with him and listening to music, talking about whatever, and we're like 30 minutes from home, and he's like, "Oh man, I gotta tell you a story." And I was like, "All right, cool." So he goes on and tells us the story that happened a couple days prior to us being picked up, and I don't remember where he was at exactly, but he was helping this guy, and they're driving or whatever, and I don't know how far into their trip this instance was, but he's playing his music, and he listened to hip hop stuff. I don't care. Like, I listen to all kinds of stuff. So him listening to hip hop was no big deal. Whatever. Like I said, I listen to all different types of stuff. And this guy though was apparently not having it. He was like looking at him, kind of mean mugging him. And he said that this guy, I forgot to tell you that he had a tattoo of Colonel Sanders like on his leg. I don't know if that's any kind of indicator.
The passenger?
Yeah. From KFC. This dude had,
oh, man.
He said that he had the Colonel Sanders tattoo. So I'm like, all right, maybe this dude's just hardcore about, fried chicken or some shit. Fried chicken,
yeah.
And so he's playing this music. He's got Ice Cube on, he said. This dude looks at him, and he's like, turn this N-word. Hard R's it. Does the hard R.
Are you serious?
Hard R's it, okay? And turn this N-word shit off. And the tow truck driver said he kind of looked at him and was like, hey, like, what's your deal, man? Like, why are you, like, why are you coming at me like that? Like, why you gotta say that kind of shit?
Why are you coming out of pocket like that?
Yeah, you're, like, fucking not being cool right now. And so the guy kind of, like, laughed a little bit and looked at him, and he said, oh, you're one of those SPI, you know.
Another racial slur.
Yeah. And this is a pretty big Hispanic dude. Like, real big, like, frame, stout dude. Real nice guy. And so, you know, this dude's dropping, like, all this, like, racial shit right in front of this guy. Like, he's just fucking spouting off. And so the guy was like, hey, like, you need to, like, calm down with that shit. Like, I don't appreciate you talking to, you know, saying this kind of shit. And I guess the guy just kind of, like, shrugged his shoulders, like, whatever, dude. And so the tow truck driver's, like, driving a little bit further, and the guy, like, picks his phone up, and he's, like, talking on his phone or whatever. And for whatever reason, whoever he's talking to, he says, like, oh, yeah, you won't believe this driver. I got this wet bee.
Another racial slur.
Yeah, telling me to mind my mouth and to shut my mouth. And at that point, the dude said he, like, looked at him and, like, totally went sideways and just fucking reared up and backhanded the fuck out of this guy. Like,
should have had some baby powder.
Smacked the shit. Yeah, smacked the shit out of this guy's face.
Slapped him.
Yeah, just full on, just bam, right across his mouth or whatever. And basically the guy was, like, shocked. Obviously, you just get fucking pimp slapped by this big ass Mexican dude. And
he was a pretty big guy.
Yeah,
because I went to go pick up Ryan and his brother when they got dropped off at the dealership, and I saw the driver get out of the truck, and he was a pretty big guy. I definitely wouldn't want to get slapped by it.
Yeah, that dude fucked this guy up. And so I guess they drove up a little bit further, and he said, all right, you know what, man, fuck your shit. He dropped him off on the side of the freeway, wherever freeway they were on, and then dumped his truck or his car or whatever off the back of the flatbed and just left him there. And I guess the guy, like, made this big commotion. He's like, I'm gonna sue you, whatever. And
good. Go ahead and try.
Either way, he's gonna get dropped from AAA, because if you threaten or you make, like, sexual remarks or, like, racial comments to the drivers, you get blacklisted out of AAA. Like, you're not allowed to have a AAA membership.
Yeah.
Like, at all. Like, any further than that.
Good. He doesn't deserve that.
Yeah, this dude was fucking way out of pocket for...
Figure it out on your own. I remember one time, I was telling you about this earlier today, I think. Years ago, I had to get my car towed, and the driver I was with, he was telling me about, like, you know, he gets dispatched to a lot of, like, vehicle, like car accidents.
Yeah.
And he was talking about all the stuff that he's seen, and one of the more recent ones that he had gone to was a guy that got, like, beheaded from an accident.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was
Gnarly.
like a motorcycle. I was like, oh my God. So these tow truck drivers, they see a lot of crap. They go through a lot of crap. Like, I would not want to deal with some racist asshole.
Yeah.
I'd be like...
This guy was also telling us, too, that he was towing this lady's car, but it was on the wheel dolly one, like, on the back of the truck where they just put the front wheels up and they tow it like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And they were going up some highway, and there was this big-ass accident. He said this, like, semi-truck flipped over or whatever, blocked, like, the freeway. So their ride went from, like, 45 minutes to, like, instantly, like, 2 hours, and they were stuck sitting there on the freeway. And so he's like, hey, like, you don't mind if I just kick it and watch Netflix, right? And she was like, no, I guess not. I mean, what else are you going to do? You're going to sit and fucking play on the freeway? Yeah. So they were, I guess they're watching, he said that they were watching Netflix and they were watching Gridiron Gang. And he was like, yeah, man, we were, like, right to the best part of the movie. And then fucking bam, they got rear-ended. The lady's car got fucking hammered in the back.
Oh,
and he was telling us, like, okay, so whatever's touching the ground when you're in that towing situation, AAA's not liable for. However that works. I don't know. I didn't get the details, whatever. So this lady's car got rear-ended, which was on the back of the tow truck being towed with
Yeah.
its front wheels up. The rest of the car was touching the ground. So anyways, and they're in like straight locked traffic. Like every lane is just stuck there. They're not moving at all. And the people that hit him like tried to duck off. Like they tried to weave through traffic after they just
No.
rear-ended the shit out of these guys. And they hid, I guess. They tried to like take up like off to the side, like shoulder or whatever, on the other side of a big rig. And this guy obviously sitting there like saw it, looked in his mirrors or whatever, and pulled over and blocked them. So they couldn't go anywhere.
Hell
And
yeah.
so they just stayed there, and the driver got out and he said he was looking for the car, and the driver was like, "Hey, yeah, they're right here," like pointing at him like, "Hey, these fools are right here."
Oh my.
And it turned out it was a couple of kids that had taken their mom's car, like, you know, without permission.
Oh, without permission,
With no
dude.
permission, dude. And fucking rear-ended this guy. They had no insurance. It wasn't their car, and yeah, he said it was all fucking bad because they were minors. Obviously, they didn't have driver's license. None of that shit. They were just out trying to whip it.
I was about to say, like, how do you rear end a car in like bumper to bumper traffic?
I
Like,
don't
you
know.
shouldn't have a license.
They
if-
didn't.
Well,
That's the
yeah,
thing. Yeah,
apparently.
they did. Yeah, obviously. There you go. That's
But that's crazy. Like, AAA is towing your car, and if any part of the vehicle that's on the ground gets hit, they don't. That's insane.
yeah. They're
that
not
blows my
responsible
mind.
for it. But anyways, for the people that are on the stream, like I said, this show right now, episode 13, we're streaming live on Big O. So yeah, if you guys want to catch a live stream of the show before it gets out, then I guess download Big O on your phone or whatever, and you can watch me recording the podcast, and then I actually go back, edit it, and then release the podcast out. So if you want to be in the know, get a little bit ahead of the game there.
Yeah, definitely download Big O, or it's called Big O Live, and all you have to do is type in Digital Demons,
Yeah.
and you'll see his logo pop up. Follow it, and then usually Sunday nights or evening into like Sunday night, that's when he usually records. So yeah, if you want to chime in, we've got 97 viewers right now watching.
Shout out to the viewers.
Yeah, there's a lot of people watching and following, which is really cool. Hey, Jake State Farm.
Jake from State Farm is
Oh
in
my
the
gosh,
house.
Jake from State Farm
Oh my God.
is watching
Sounds
the
like a
stream
man.
right now. But yeah, so this is really cool, actually.
Yeah,
I
a
really
little-
like Big O.
A little different setup for this episode, I guess. But yeah, so this week has been just, like I said, super stressful, getting ready to travel, and I haven't really been paying attention to much. As usual, like I try to be on the lookout for stuff during the week, and I don't know, I've been
Life's
out of
hectic
it. Yeah.
right now.
Shit sucks.
Usually it is hectic, but right now it's extra hectic. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
We've
definitely.
got
A lot of shit to plan for in a very short amount of time, and now that the truck is fucked up again, that just adds more stress, more undue stress, and
it's crazy that you're
Shit.
talking about, like how they couldn't figure out the issue with your truck the first 2 fucking times.
yeah,
My dad was talking about so I'm borrowing my dad's car right now. He just needs someone to drive it. He's got all these cars. So, and he's one person. So he was like, hey, drive this around for a little bit. But the check engine light is on. And he was like, I've taken it to a bunch of mechanics and they can't figure it out. He's like, I need an actual mechanic to take a look at the car. And it's a Chrysler 300. It's from 2005. It's an old car. The thing has some power to it. But, when he was saying, he's like, I don't want a tech to look at it. I want an actual mechanic. And I know there's a lot of, car techs out there that they know what they're doing. But, like in the instance of what you're going through right now, it's like,
I'm shit out of luck for right now, and
We're getting rid of the truck.
I
That's
doubt it's
that's
going
for
to be
dang
ready
sure.
by when I leave. So
Well, whatever. We're getting rid of it anyways.
it'll just sit at the shop until I get back. I don't give a shit anyways. So yeah, shitty week. But just real kind of stressful week so far, and it's just gonna get worse as we get closer to me leaving. But yeah, so we tried to get out of the stress zone here, and what we did was watch Quiet on the Set. And how do you feel about that documentary? Because we've seen like a couple little YouTube clips here and there, and kind of got the gist of the whole thing. But this like
that was
I
wild.
guess is a docu series because there's multiple episodes.
Yeah.
So yeah, this shit came out and we watched it on, what was it, Max, HBO Max.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can probably find it all over the place now, but yeah, we watched it on Max, and it details kind of just, it's all these different accounts of all that Nickelodeon abuse and shit like that went down over there in like the 90s and 2000s or whatever. And it's mainly focused on Dan Schneider, who was like the producer, writer, director of like all these like classic 90s shows that we watched when we were kids, like all
that.
yeah, all this like the sketch comedy stuff. He's
Yeah.
responsible for a lot of people's careers. And yeah, it gets fucking wild, man. Like just the shit that these kids got put through, like on the daily or however, whatever their weekly filming schedule was. It's pretty graphic, some of the stuff, but you know, if you have the stomach or the wherewithal to, you know what's going on in this whole Hollywood upper echelon of the elites in Hollywood, you'd kind of want to tune into this because it's just another one of those things that exposes them. And we're all kind of in tune now with all the Hollywood shit and all the creeps that work within the industry. So yeah, it goes into like not only Dan Schneider, but it brings up two other guys and their whole stories on how they were working for this guy and what they were doing with these kids on set and in their personal lives, how they would,
Yeah.
it was some shit, man. Like
By the
it
way,
sucks.
if you haven't seen this yet and you want to watch it or you plan on watching it, you're going to hear some spoilers. So maybe tune out for like the next 10 minutes because you're going to hear a lot of spoilers. But myself, I've worked in the film industry off and on for the past, like, I don't know, 8-9 years. So there was Dan Schneider, who was a writer, producer, and even directed a lot of the stuff. But another person that was brought up in the documentary was I believe he was a production assistant. Yeah. So, which is also called a PA in the industry. I started off as a PA, and when you're a production assistant in the film industry, you're the lowest of the totem pole. You pick up trash, you take out the trash, you get everyone waters, like you're the gopher, you know? So for someone to be mentioned in this docuseries to have, been reaching out to these little kids and, just basically sexually harassing these little kids, like that's disgusting. Like how did such a big, like Nickelodeon, such a big corporation allow something like that? And obviously everyone else, but a production assistant, like it's unheard of. So when I was watching that, being someone that's worked in the film industry, and I've worked on big productions and I've worked on little productions, like it's unheard of, and then
Yeah.
Brian Peck,
Disgusting. Fat little turd.
God.
Yeah, he had his
was-
that whole thing where Drake Bell was describing like how they spawned a relationship and all that. Not like a relationship between the two of them, but like a business kind of thing was super fucked up. And then he details like all the stuff that the guy actually did to him, like sexual assault wise, which was just like, I couldn't believe, like, I don't know. Like I never really was into Nickelodeon in the, I guess past, I don't know, I would say maybe
A long
99 to
ass time.
2000. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like a
I
long
was
ass
older,
time.
I wasn't really interested in all that stuff, but when I was watching those shows, you'd see like the Amanda Show and all that stuff. So he was on there. Obviously, everybody knows that. And then the stuff that happened to him prior to him starting the Drake and Josh show, all this abuse had started even before their pilot was even filmed. So he had to like
Yeah.
endure like all this fucked up shit, and then turn around and film the whole show and act happy go lucky, and like he's some smiling and awesome kid when he's been fucking sexually abused and raped and all this shit. Like it's just
Yeah.
mind blowing the
And it was
shit
really
that's on that
sad.
show.
It was really sad watching it because, Drake talks about how, his dad was, his parents had separated, and, long story short, his dad was like, hey, this Brian Peck guy, like there's something not right about him. I don't want him near my kid. And Drake, growing up, teenage angst, preteen phase, he's like, oh, my dad's too protective, he's too controlling, whatever it is. He says, I don't want him being like my manager anymore. So then his mom takes over and, excuse me, basically, his dad finds out that Brian Peck had sexually assaulted one of the cast members. And they say this in the documentary. He's, Drake's like, yeah, my dad was like, I'm so glad that he finally got caught, not knowing that it was actually his son who he was trying to protect. His son was the one that got sexually assaulted. And, the only reason why, and I just learned this today, the only reason why that Drake did the documentary is because his dad blamed himself so much for what happened, and he wanted to put the story out there and let everyone know that like his dad tried to protect him. And we gotta look over how we try to protect our the women and our daughters and stuff like that. We need to protect
All the kids.
Like you need to protect your sons as much as you do your daughters. Your sons are just as vulnerable to horrible people as much as your daughters are.
That's adults and kids, but
Oh yeah, absolutely.
mainly those kids need to get better security, especially on sets like that, because those people aren't vetted. They just walk onto set and be like, hey, I'm gonna go tape the cords down on the ground, or I'm gonna go set up some lights, and they're out back fucking diddling little kids and shit like that. It should never be allowed. But it's crazy though too, because the sentence that the one guy got,
Oh my
spoiler
gosh.
alert,
Yeah.
he got 16 months, and he had all these like famous people like writing letters of like basically begging the judge to not go hard on this guy for what he did. And there's 11 counts, like 11 felony counts is what this guy did, like including like forced penetration, like copulation with a minor, and dude, it's just fucking amazing like how these people are such suckers and disgusting individuals themselves that they'd go and stand up for this dude after knowing what he did to this kid, this child.
Yeah. And the fact that those words in a sentence, like, forced penetration with a minor, the fact that those words even have to be in one sentence, what a world we're living in right now. Like, that's just disgusting.
And it's being portrayed as something cool, and they're coddling these people, even going as far as to say like pedophilia isn't a crime. It's
A mental.
no, it's not even that. They're trying to say it's like a lifestyle. It's like,
Oh yeah, that's
oh,
right.
it's like I want to
Ugh.
be. I'm gay. Whatever people say, they can be like, oh, I'm just a pedophile. Like, oh yeah, cool, man. Like, come over to my house. Like, the kids will love to meet you. I don't fucking think so, dude.
No,
like, you should be
absolutely
put out
not.
in the middle of the street and just fucking shot.
You're a
pedophile.
Yeah, exactly.
You should not be on the earth. You're gross.
After that documentary, I'm someone that when I like watch or read about something, I go into like a rabbit hole of reading more into it. So after watching that documentary, I was like, okay, well, like iCarly, like why weren't like the main actors on that show, why weren't they on the documentary? Why weren't certain people on that documentary? So I go on their Instagram pages. One of the famous actors that, you know, vetted for Brian Peck, the child molester, you know, who, again, he wrote a letter saying that this person, you know, the child molester, that he's such a great guy. You go on his pictures and see all these people commenting and saying, where's the apology for Drake Bell? Like, why are you vetting for someone that's a disgusting human being?
They're victim blaming at that point. Like, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, he's got to be making this stuff up. He's a, you know, he's this kid and this kid or whatever. And they're
But
victim
yeah.
blaming.
Like, all these people, I went on Ariana Grande. Like, if you go on Ariana Grande's Instagram, she got fucking millions of followers. She has her comments limited to, like, you'll see maybe like anywhere from like 30 to 40 comments, and they're all positive stuff, but you know, a lot of them don't want the hateful comments on there. But hey, it's like, you need to speak up about what you went through. It's nothing wrong with you, but you need to speak up and support.
Well, because if they do, they're gonna get on the no list. They're gonna get blacklisted, because that's how Hollywood is. We all know that Hollywood's a bunch of perverted, fucking
Hollywood's nothing now.
disgusting people that work in that industry. Gross.
But
Majority are pedophiles, like it always has been.
and then, did you see the video of Dan Schneider, his response video?
No,
Oh yeah,
I don't care to look at that guy. He's a fat, disgusting pig.
Yeah, so Dan Schneider, he posted an apology video, and it's like a 20-minute long video, but he talks about how, so he had someone that worked on a Nickelodeon show that he knows, that actor was the interviewer, but he talks about, you know, he cries in the interview, and now mind you, Dan Schneider used to be an actor, okay? So in this apology video, he does seem genuine, you know, he does seem like it, but he used to be an actor, and he talks about, now, not to play it off like the stuff that any of the things that happened in the Quiet on Set documentary is not a big deal, because all of it is a big deal, but he only talks about the stuff that's not, you know, he references the salary cut, splitting one salary between two people, which it's still a big deal, but he doesn't address the fact that, you know, they
just made a whole documentary about kids being molested, and he's taking the small parts out.
And like the whole Amanda Bynes getting pregnant at, what was it, 13 or 15? I can't remember the age, but she got pregnant at 13 or 15 by her boss, and he doesn't address that. He doesn't address any of the sexual allegations that were put on against him. Like, okay, why aren't you, if you're going to put out an apology video, which is not going to do shit, but you need to address everything in that video. Everything, or in the documentary.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Like, yeah, he's not gonna because he's trying to make a comeback, like they said.
Yeah, like nasty. That's bullshit, but.
Trying to make a comeback.
Comebacking.
Yeah.
Oh, that was horrible, because Corey Feldman was talked about. Anyways.
Corey Feldman. Shout out to Corey Feldman, dude. He's a comeback king. Speaking of comebacks, I don't know if Shohei Ohtani's going to be able to come back from his gambling case that's on his ass now.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Dodgers got this fool for 10 years, $700 million. And his interpreter, Ippei Mizuhara, is in the hole for $4.5 million, or was, and claimed initially that Shohei Ohtani had helped him pay off his gambling debt of $4.5 million. So that's a big no-no, because that could go towards like betting on his own team, or other things like that. And I guess it's kind of common that players bet, but in the case of like Pete Rose, he got a lifetime ban in 1989 for betting on the Cincinnati Reds when he was a player and he was a manager. He like made all these bets saying that the Reds were going to win from like 1985 till like 1987. He was betting, and so they kicked him out of the MLB and banned him for life, and that means he wouldn't be able to get into the Hall of Fame. And this dude had a good career. You know, Pete Rose was a good baseball player, and you know, just doing that shit, he got fucked, and now he's not going to be able to be eligible or ever get into the Hall of Fame, because at one point he was appealing it, and it was looking like, oh, they might let him slide on it. They might, you know, take away his ban and this and that. But the MLB commissioners, the one guy left and another guy came in, and the new guy basically told him, like, now I'm in charge. Fuck off. Like, it's not gonna be reversed ever.
Like, see ya. No,
yeah, I'm in charge now. Back. You're still banned. And it could be that same shit happens to Shohei Ohtani at the peak of his career. I mean, like I said, the Angels had him. He had a stellar performance with the Angels. Thank God that he's not on there right now, because the Angels got a lot of cleaning up and cleaning house to do, in my opinion. That's my team. Yeah, so I mean, if he gets the boot from MLB, that's gonna be such major news. Like, that's gonna shake.
Detrimental.
It's gonna shake the whole sports world, and majority of it's gonna go on the MLB, because it's just gonna show people, the public mainly, that the fucking games can be rigged. Like, you know what I mean? Which is why they're also pushing for the automated strike zone. There's not gonna be an umpire behind the plate pretty soon. That's why they're pushing for this, because those umpires can get paid off. Hey man, fucking slide us a win tonight. You know, here's $100K.
Oh, I was like, what?
And then that turns into the players betting, and they fix the games.
But the thing is, so if they don't have the umpires there, like, they can get paid off, yeah, but it's on camera. Like, they can rewatch the footage.
That it doesn't matter. Those people get paid, and shit happens in games. So they're trying to eliminate all that. And if this goes through and Ohtani gets kicked out of the fucking major leagues, dude, it's gonna be a shit show. So the other guy, Ippei, was his translator, and initially he had told the investigators that Shohei had helped him pay off the debt, and then so they started delving into it further, and then his story flipped. And then he told him, like, oh, yeah, Shohei, he had no idea. He doesn't know about any of it. I'm just telling you I have a gambling problem. Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, so the Dodgers fucking canned his ass. So they fired him. And, yeah, so I don't know. It could get real shitty real quick. And I guess tomorrow, being Monday, Shohei is going to release a statement about the whole thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm anxious to see how they play that, because they're in fucking damage control. If there ever was damage control, they got massive damage control right now. This guy's whole fucking career is on the line right now.
You know what sucks? Like, there's an obvious language barrier. You know what I mean?
Doesn't fucking mean anything to have a language barrier if you're sliding over fucking $200K to somebody to bet on a game that you want, you know? And they start throwing games and you start making money, and then...
No, but
I
mean,
what?
Like, do you actually think that Shohei was, like... Do you think that he was actually being, like, just a good person and saying, I have this money
Him
here.
Just helping him pay for it, though, is a problem. So he could be fucked just on that.
Do you think he knew that? That's what I mean, like, the
Well, they were saying barrier. That... Initially, they were saying that Ippei stole the money from him, and that he didn't know. But his original story was, he gave me the money and paid the shit off. So he's already got him on that. He's I don't know.
Flip-flopping all over the place.
It's gonna be it's gonna be some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of shit, what I think is gonna be shit is Happy Gilmore 2.
Oh man, you know what? So I didn't know that there was gonna be a Happy Gilmore 2 until this morning.
Yeah.
Until you told me, and I think it'll be entertaining. But realistically, it obviously it's not going to top the first one or come like close to it.
No,
because there's like 3 or 4 people from the original cast that have passed away. R.I.P.
And it's been fucking 30 years since the first one came out. Like, how are you gonna get that vibe going that the first one had? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they had so many classic lines in that movie, just like with Dumb and Dumber and all the other movies that came out, and then they waited, 15, 20 years to, whatever plus to make sequels. It's not as funny as the original shit. Like when they what really first pissed me off was The Sandlot. Okay, classic movie. Everybody, I'm pretty sure, has seen it. Baseball movie. And then all of a sudden they do a Sandlot, second Sandlot movie, and it's just like, why did you fucking ruin what we had with just the first one? Leave it alone, let it be great, and then that's it. What are they gonna fucking make Billy Madison fucking 2 next?
I've never seen The Sandlot, so I can't speak
Oh my
on that.
God, hang it up, dude. Hang it up. You haven't seen the fucking Titanic. You haven't seen.
Well, we watched the Titanic the
We
other
watched
day.
it from where it got good.
Well, I mean, I saw it.
Shit.
I haven't seen a lot of these iconic movies, or I won't say that I haven't watched a lot of these iconic movies, but I watched them when I was such a little kid that
You're not gonna remember anything like that.
Exactly. Like, I'm sure I watched the Titanic when I was a little kid because
You're probably like fucking 3 years old when that movie came out.
I'm
Quite literally.
probably, yeah.
Yeah, quite literally. That was like 97 or 98 or whatever it was when Titanic came out.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember.
Jesus Christ.
I don't remember a lot of these movies, but I definitely don't remember. I know of The Sandlot.
Yeah, it's an amazing fucking movie. It's a timeless classic, and then they went and fucked it up by making another one. I don't know how many. I stopped paying attention because I was so irritated at that fucking Sandlot 2, dude. Come on, man.
I always got
Jesus.
like seeing like memes or whatever. I used to get like the Little Rascals and the Sandlot because I've never seen the Little Rascals either. That's the name of the movie, right?
You haven't seen
or
that movie?
Little Rascals, whatever.
Little Rascals?
No, because I thought so. There's a dog on the Little Rascals, right?
Yes, Petey.
Okay, so I thought the dog was on Sandlot, and
There is a dog on Sandlot, the Beast.
what's the one with the circle on the?
That's Petey. That's from Little Rascals.
Oh well, I just
Yeah.
remember that one of them. I guess now, both of them have a dog, but I thought only one of them had a dog. So I was like,
Oh man, Jesus.
I know. I there's a lot of movies I need to watch.
At least we went and watched. Not we didn't go and watch it, but we watched Heat.
That was I was like, wait, what?
Heat.
He's not talking about the new one with.
What new one?
There's a movie with Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy called Heat.
Man, fuck both of them. I'm talking about Heat, the real shit.
The old school
bank robber.
Heat, yeah.
Fucking Heat. The
That was a
greatest, like one of the greatest
great
shootout
movie.
scenes in the history of movies.
Yeah, that is such a great movie. But for
At least
those
you've
of you
seen
that
that.
are watching or listening, he's not referencing the Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, no,
Heat.
that shit's whack.
Yeah. But yeah, so Happy Gilmore too.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think
not
it'll
gonna
be
cool.
entertaining, but it's obviously, like I said, it's not going to be as good as the first one. But I'm sure he's good. The movie's going to play off like he's gotten older, because he definitely doesn't look like he did.
No, dude, Adam Sandler looks fucking old as shit now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
And he's had these amazingly terrible movies that he's tried to do. And like, what was that? I don't even know what the name of the last one was, where he's a fucking astronaut and there's like some kind of hairy spider or some shit like that. I don't know.
I don't remember.
Terrible.
I remember very little of it because I put it on right as we were falling asleep. But
I'm glad I fell asleep for that, because if I would have stayed up and watched that movie, I would have been like, I just wasted an hour or 2 hours or whatever it was of my life, and I'll never get it back.
Yeah.
Thanks for wasting my life.
yeah, that's rough. But man, there was something I was reading today. Totally changing the subject.
Yeah, it's all good.
I'm like totally changing the subject. So I was reading this article about this, and this is really sad. This breaks my heart. This little boy who is in a wheelchair, and he's verbal to an extent, but he's not like he's not totally verbal. He can't like hear really well. He's got a learning disability, but anyways, he's in a wheelchair, and he was at his school, and I guess like the staff left him at like near a wheelchair ramp, and they weren't watching him, and his wheelchair went down the wheelchair ramp and smashed into a concrete wall, broke both of his legs.
Family's getting paid.
Yeah. And they were saying that like they could see that he was like on the verge of tears, or like something was wrong with him, but they didn't like try to find out what was wrong. They didn't like.
They just found him crushed up against the fucking fence, and somebody's like, "Huh, I wonder how he got here."
And so, you know, the mom finds out and sees that there's something wrong, so she's suing the fuck out of the school district, out of the school. But like, and it sucks because a lot of like these teachers and stuff like that in the schools, they're understaffed, but it's like, how are you going to let something like that happen to just a little child? Like, that's horrible. I don't know. That just broke my heart reading that article.
Well, there was this kid, Eric, in elementary school, and he had spina bifida, so he was in a wheelchair, and he had like these little braces and stuff on his legs, and his wheelchair he like clicked in like with a seatbelt, so he couldn't fall out or whatever. And some fucking asshole kid, well, because like the library was in a separate building, and it had like these ramps that went up from like the left side, the right side, and the front side, like a fun box skate park bullshit. And they grabbed him one time trying to be funny and like ran with him, and went up the one side of the like the ramp that goes into the doorway or whatever.
Yeah.
And he fucking flew through the air and flipped over in his wheelchair. Oh, and like I said, it was buckled in, so he didn't fall out. I guess it would have been worse if he fell out, but he fucking flew through the air and just like slammed on the ground. And they didn't do anything. His parents didn't do anything, because it was back in the day. People weren't just automatically like, check, please. Like they weren't thinking of suing anybody and all this other shit. It was just kind of like, yeah, he got picked on. Like, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna go to his parents and be like, what kind of child are you raising? Like, what is that? I mean, I get it. Like, nowadays, parents are more aware. But still, like,
not saying that's an excuse or anything.
Yeah,
but like,
it's not.
It was super fucked up. But yeah,
that's
nowadays
so sad.
they would probably have been sued and cashed the fuck out on the district and teachers and principal and everybody.
Yeah.
But
spina bifida. What? I know what that is. Why can't I think of what that like?
Yeah, it's a pretty debilitating thing. Like, a lot of them don't have use of their legs and stuff like that, and it's just it's pretty fucked up.
It's horrible. Ugh.
Yeah.
We were talking about, you're leaving for a while, and it's crazy. I've always been someone that loves to cook, and I will always love to cook. I love making these, like last night for dinner, I made us lobster tails, and
that were bomb as fuck.
Yeah, Ryan had 3 lobster tails. Excuse me. And I made potatoes with corn, and it had like a garlic herb butter mix. Like, it was just really good. But I was thinking, like, now that we've lived together for, so long, I don't enjoy cooking as much by myself as I do cooking for us, for you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I love like making these like super awesome dinners, but it's like when you're not home, whether it's like, for an X amount of time, or if it's just, you working at night, like when you're not here, I'll cook up some mac and cheese, Kraft mac and cheese, and call it quits, or top ramen, and I'm like, okay, cool, I can, I'm just gonna relax now. But with you about to leave for so long, it's like, man, I'm not gonna be doing much cooking.
I mean, you could just come home and chill instead then.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I cook. I cook way too much food. Like whenever I cook, I don't know how to cook for one person unless it's like a frozen dish. Like I just cook way too much food. Like, so besides the lobster tails, last night I also made, I call it cowboy bacon, but it was like cowboy bacon bits. So it was like, chopped up pork belly and smoked bacon ends, and it had like maple syrup and Old Bay, a little bit of brown sugar, garlic salt, friggin' baked it, and it was, oh my gosh, it was
Bomb as
so, yeah, it was so good. But I'm like, I don't want to spend all that time doing that just for like myself, make all this food that I'm not going to end up eating.
Yeah,
But
I mean, that's just less mess too. So I mean, it's a kind of cool, but it sucks because I'm not gonna be here. So I mean,
yeah.
I won't have home cooking at all.
But at least you'll be able to have some good food. Try
But
new
still,
cuisines. But yeah.
sucks.
Well, hopefully this, trip goes by fast.
Yeah, I think it will. It's
It's like, wake me up when June is over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear about that? The little girl. She's 8 years old. She's deaf, and her mom is suing. The little girl was a cheerleader, and the mom is suing the cheer company.
No.
I always get these random articles that should be in the headlines, but they're not. I was reading this article about this little girl. Again, she's 8 years old and she's deaf, and she was on a cheer squad, not through a school, but like a private,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So they had brought in an ASL translator for her, but for the more, how do I explain it? For the parts that need to,
The choreographed parts.
the parts where, it's like, all right, group 1, go, group 2, go. The coaches were like, no, you can't talk during this part, which is you have parts where group 1 has to tumble. Okay, group 1 tumble starts. Once group 1 is done tumbling, doing cartwheels, stuff like that, group 2 goes. But because the translator wasn't, they told the translator not to do the sign language, the little girl was being discriminated against. It sounds weird, but reading through the article, it's this little girl, she's not being, told when to go, and that puts her at risk of getting hurt. So the mom's suing the cheer company.
She'll get a check. She'll get a check.
That poor little girl, she obviously I'm sure she felt really left out.
Well, I mean, just depending on how little of hearing that she has, I mean, there's still people that do that stuff and function with hearing aids and stuff like that. So I don't know.
I'm pretty sure she was completely deaf.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's really sad.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
It's kind of shitty. I think the other shitty thing that is kind of in the news right now too is that big terrorist attack in Russia.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they're pinning it on Ukraine.
Mhm.
And the Russians are about to fucking unleash hell even more than they already have in Ukraine.
How many people was it?
They killed 133 people, and over 100 were injured. These guys, ISIS was claiming responsibility for it. So,
where they been for?
Yeah, fucking on the down low, just rebuilding like they're a fucking sports team or something, and they just pop up out of nowhere. But these guys were from Tajikistan, apparently, which is a predominantly Muslim country. And yeah, for whatever reason, they made their way into Russia, and went to the Crocus City music or city, yes, the Crocus City Hall music venue. And yeah, they just fucking started lobbing explosives and shooting people randomly, and like there's like POV like body cams that they were wearing.
The terrorists were wearing.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And yeah, it's super fucked up. Like they had like people like cowering in corners and just scared, and they just fucking start blasting on them. Killed a whole bunch of people, and there's people that they shot, and like they were on the ground bleeding. They just go over and put a knife in their neck and all this shit. It was super fucking super fucked up. But these guys are probably gonna get the hammer dropped on them because there was 11 of them, and they all got caught alive.
Good.
So yeah, it's fuck. They had one guy, they cut a chunk of his ear off and like tried to force feed it to him, and yeah, it's bad. They just whooped these fools' asses. And but yeah, all of them are in custody, and they're gonna be going to the courthouse in Russia. And you know what they got? They got that fucking white room underneath that shit. So you get you get your conviction, you go into the white room, you say, hey, what is this? And they just go, bang, and you're fucking dead. So that's what's going to happen. I don't know, man. And they were saying that they were accusing of Russia of opening up a time window for these people to sneak back into Ukraine. And so they were caught going back into Ukraine. And, Putin's fucking pissed because this shit happened just like pretty recently after he got reelected, which was a fucking sham, dude. Like insane, crazy, election process that they had over there, where they had like false bottoms on fucking voting boxes and shit like that.
Yeah, like where you put in your ballot.
Disappearing ink, so like you'd go to fill it out and the ink would disappear. Like some serious like hardcore shit going on over there.
That's crazy.
And
but of all places, not Ukraine, Russia, like...
That's not crazy. Fucking Putin's been in power over there for like fucking 800 years.
No, I know, but like for them to go to Russia and try and pull that shit, like they don't fuck around out there. That's...
I don't know, man. There's a lot of shit that's gone down where they're saying like, the Russians are fucking, they're not putting up with any more shit, and I don't know. Ukraine is probably dumb enough to fucking, try to go directly at these places as like civilian places because of the bombings and shit like that. And I don't know. The shit's about to get way worse for Ukraine right now. They thought it was bad already. These guys just, heightened the fucking, the ass whooping that's about to come to them. Even further now with this bullshit. So I don't know, man. Putin's not one to be fucked with at all, as we all know.
Yeah, definitely
he kills
not.
the people that try to go up against him and makes people disappear that speak out against him. So yeah, it's not looking good, man. Yeah. Not looking good for Ukraine. I'm not standing with Ukraine. I'm fucking laying down taking a nap, by the way. So all that we stand with Ukraine shit. Yeah. Fucking, I've been in a coma when it comes to fucking standing with Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yeah, not all for that shit. It's a fucking ploy. Everybody in the U.S. knows that the money's being laundered over there because they can't afford fucking guns and ammo and bombs and everything, but we're sending them fucking billions of dollars, and they don't know what happened to anything apparently.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, we're snoozing with Ukraine. Snoozing on Ukraine. We're not kneeling or fucking doing all that other ridiculous bullshit.
Yeah.
And speaking of ridiculous bullshit, the saying "no homo," okay, for the dudes out there, or anybody that's privy to that saying.
Hey, no homo.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I want to kiss you, dude. No homo. Yeah, it's being replaced by no Diddy.
Hey, no Diddy, dude, but
your ass
butt looks
fat.
Great. Oh.
Yeah. Your ass looks fat in those jeans, dude. No homo. No Diddy. Yeah, it's the newest saying.
That's so funny.
It's the newest saying.
I wonder if he's like come out with like a
He's
statement.
not gonna say shit, dude.
Yeah.
He's been trying to fuck dudes for the longest time and groom children and shit like that, and now that's being
Gross.
publicly announced and put out there, it's only a matter of time before he gets busted for doing some weird shit, or they launch an investigation on him. So, no Diddy. Say no to Diddy. How about that? When he tries to advance on you or give you a fucking a record deal or something like that, and all you got to do is fucking diddle his fucking private parts.
His private parts.
Yeah, Diddy's a freak, man.
Diddle is Diddy.
Yeah, doo-wop is Diddy.
Oh shit. Oh man.
But yeah, man. Shout out to everybody that's on Big O right now. Big O Live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for watching the show.
Yeah, we've got quite a lot of people watching.
We streamed this episode on Big O Live. So like I was saying, if you guys don't have the app, go grab this shit, and you guys will maybe get to watch me stream an episode before it comes out. Because now that this one is like pretty much over with,
Yeah. What I mean,
it's gonna get edited and then posted. So make sure you guys are following the show online for the live viewers. You can follow me on Instagram at digital_demons_podcast. I'm kind of frequent on there. And it's also on YouTube. The show is on YouTube. It updates weekly automatically. YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube. Once the episodes come out, they are automatically put onto YouTube. So you can just find me on there, Digital Demons Podcast. I'm also on X, formerly known as Twitter.
I still think that's so crazy.
The app formerly known as Twitter, at Digital Demons Pod, DGITLDMNSPOD, Digital Demons Pod. And if anybody that's on this live stream or listening to the podcast has anything to suggest, if you guys want to hear me bullshit about random stuff, or you have something serious to say, or I don't know, you want to send a message that's talking shit, I didn't like the show, cry about it, you guys can email me, digitaldemonspodcast@gmail.com. So go like, subscribe, and do all that cool shit. And for the weekly listeners out there, thank you guys again. Like I say every single week, for the support. I really do appreciate it. I don't know how next week is going to go because it's going to be a travel week, and got a lot of shit to figure out, a lot of shit to do. And I'm going to try to get an episode out, but I can't promise it. But if anything, it'll probably come out during the week. So if you guys are following me on Instagram, I'll definitely be updating there when I can. And yeah, so if you're not following me right now, especially everybody on Big O, go follow the fucking Instagram page and run those numbers up for me. Once again, it's digital_demons_podcast. And I have all the other episodes up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you can stream podcasts. If you're into that kind of shit, I'd appreciate it for the follow, for the reviews, good or bad. I don't really care, because I'm going to keep doing the show weekly, and that doesn't really have any weight on me. But I appreciate everybody that's stuck with us for, how long have we been going? For just under an hour right now. So everybody out there that's been watching us live, I appreciate it. We appreciate it. And yeah,
and now they get to watch you edit the podcast.
Yeah, well, I don't know about all that shit. That's gonna take a while, but yeah, just shout out to everybody that's joined the live stream here, and we're gonna be looking forward to having some fun episodes coming up pretty soon. Like I said, I don't know when this next one's gonna be coming out. I'm gonna try to get this one out as soon as I can. But yeah, next week might take a little bit longer, so I'm not making any promises, but I will do my best to try to record an episode. And there's going to be definitely some guest action coming up soon on these next podcasts for sure. They're probably going to be really hilarious, and
they always are.
Looking forward to getting these ones out as always. Yeah, thanks again to everybody for listening weekly. Thanks for all the live viewers. So yeah, go and join the pages on Instagram, on YouTube, And follow, like, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. Ring bells, fucking spin your head around your shoulders, do a cartwheel and a backflip. But yeah, so yeah, that's going to wrap it up. Episode 13. Lucky 13.
Is it 13?
This is 13.
Oh my gosh. How exciting.
So yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Yeah, you got to just be on the lookout for that. So follow the socials.
Get with it.
Yeah, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care of yourselves. Peace out.
Peace out.